live from the On Air Media Studios here in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Soundbites with Susan and Waylon, where we take a short extraction of our daily lives as publicists to share with you all. I am Waylon Tate with Waylon & Associates.
And I am Susan Friedman of Friedman Marketing and Public Relations. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday motivation.
Monday motivation.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm feeling pretty motivated today, which is incredible since I drank a little bit too much last night. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm sure.
Delayed St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, because I didn't celebrate. I'm Irish, clearly, red freckles, hair. But no, I didn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I actually baked, as you saw probably on my Facebook page, at 8 o'clock p.m. It's like, is that what every other?
What prompted you?
I don't know, Susan. Like, I think I was just hungry for something sweet, and there was nothing in my place, and so I was like, okay, well,
Let's
I guess
bake
I'm gonna
a cake
make myself
from scratch.
And it was good.
Everyone
it was
does
good.
that.
It turned out very well. I know, right? I actually put on Facebook. I was like, I'm sure every other gay guy in Dallas is at home baking at 8 o'clock p.m. on a Saturday, right? No, all my friends were out partying. But anyways, yeah, yesterday it was a Pamper Waylon day, and I really needed that to like decompress. Nail Bar on Oak Lawn is amazing, and so I got a manicure, a pedicure, and a massage.
I'm jealous.
It was
sounds
so
amazing.
nice. It was so nice. Since I haven't been able to get a mini excursion away, we were just talking before the show about vacations. It's been a year, Susan, a year this month since I've gone on a vacation.
I'm not as productive if I don't do a getaway every once in a while.
But you still work on your getaways.
Yeah, that's true.
You do.
That is true.
You can't. Would it be next to impossible for you to go out of town without your laptop?
Well, I have a full-time employee who I trust,
Okay.
but I don't know if mentally I could do it.
Right. Is
so,
it
yeah.
separation anxiety from?
A little bit, yeah.
We should do one of those unplug days. Like, could you do it? Could you unplug for an entire day?
Yes.
You could?
I think I
don't
could.
know. I think I would go
I think
nuts.
I could. I almost, when I went to Palm Springs in January, I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much dewired.
Love Palm Springs,
Yeah.
by the way.
And then there were crises.
And of course, it always happens that way, right?
Yes. Well, I had a great weekend too. I actually had brunch with my friends at a place I've never been to.
Okay.
Have you heard of Up on Knox? On
No.
Knox Street.
Is it like Knox
It's
Henderson
so
area?
cute. It's an American brasserie.
Okay.
And they have everything from,
Oh.
so
Ladies
this-
who lunch.
It's Ladies Who Lunch, and it's so wonderful. It's called Brunch Upon a Time, and we meet monthly at a different location every time.
Okay.
And it's so much fun. So everyone needs to have a group of friends just to go and do that, and it's my mental health day, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
where
great.
you get to talk to friends, and we don't really talk about work. We talk about, a lot of them are single.
Okay.
And so we
Men.
talk about men and dating, and it's so interesting, and I'm glad to be married.
Oh.
So.
I know.
Yes.
We have those conversations in my circle of friends as well. But it seems like as of late, I'm like the last one, right? That doesn't have. It's the worst, right? When you have a small group of friends,
No,
anyways.
When
And-
you're self-employed and you're really focused on your business, though, I was single for 7 years. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been 40 for me. 40 years.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
been
Well, speaking of
87
marriage,
years.
I celebrated my 3-year anniversary on Tuesday. So on Saturday, I had to work on
Congratulations.
Tuesday night.
Oh, jeez.
I know, my husband is so sweet and
He
generous.
is, and patient.
So, and patient. And so we celebrated at the mansion on
Turtle
Saturday
Creek?
night. Yep, the mansion on Turtle Creek.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so,
Susan,
yeah,
you
I
have
did
to walk
some
us
food
through
shots.
what is this? What is this? Is this some kind of gelatin something?
You know what? That was the amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche.
So,
Oh, I love that. Which is fancy term for the audience of basically like it's a
little
one-off
spoon.
piece. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
and
oh,
then they
that
gave
is
us
so
a little happy
cute.
anniversary dessert plate.
And it's made in a heart, right? Is
yes,
it a heart shape?
Isn't that sweet? And it was delicious.
What is that?
So
Like a turtle? Or
It was everything fabulous. It was a chocolate tort and like a strawberry sponge cake.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that is
It
delicious.
was so delicious. And the mansion is beautiful.
It is.
They gave us, actually, I was asking about the history of the mansion because I wasn't very familiar with it. And they gave us this little one sheet that I could take home, so I'm going to read it. So I can
They have a
learn
one. I've never heard of that in my life. A restaurant having like a one-pager on who they are.
Yes.
Oh my God, maybe I should do that for some of my
Well, they have
clients.
such an impeccable history, so I think it's great that they do that.
Oh, okay. No, that they do, and they're one of the oldest restaurants here. Right?
I believe so,
Okay.
yeah.
Certainly
Yeah.
one of the most well-known restaurants in all of Dallas, and I know a lot of people like to have receptions and big things. It's just a gorgeous space, and they went through renovations maybe about 5 years ago. It's a fantastic.
It's
if you've never
beautiful.
been, it's
It's a treat, and the
It's
service
up there,
is
yeah.
impeccable.
But
it
yes,
really is.
it's certainly an experience,
Yes.
for sure.
And then moving on.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited about this because I love to read and I love historical
Mm.
fiction. And I love Dracula. I was born on Halloween, so of course I love Dracula. And I went to the DMA series of authors.
Okay.
It's with Arts and Letters Live. And one of my favorite authors of all time was there speaking. And I got her to sign a book. It is Elizabeth Kostova this is her new book. It's called Shadowland, but a lot of people know her for The Historian. And look, she signed.
Oh.
She signed my book.
What does it say? For Susan with warmest wishes. Oh, that is so cute.
Yes. So it was a highlight. I was very excited, and it's a must-read. I haven't read this one yet, but definitely The Historian.
And you actually had some time to talk with her, right? Didn't you?
Yes, and there was a Q&A afterwards, and I did ask a question about her challenges in book publishing and whether it was difficult to have her first book published. And she has... she had no problems, actually. She said that she had an offer within 48 hours, which is amazing, and they turned it down and ended up auctioning off the book to a publisher.
Oh my gosh, that is...
Because she had so many...
I would have to
so many people.
certainly assume that that's not the norm. So what that tells me is that she obviously is an incredible writer.
It means that this book is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. If you're into historical fiction, if you like Eastern Europe, and if you're into Dracula,
Scandinavia,
yes, then you need to read this book.
No, that's great. I love, I represent a couple of authors, and so both of them are already established kind of in the literary world, so it's not a daunting experience. But, you know, I've actually been kind of working on a book myself, and so
many things.
I know.
No wonder
I never have dates, right? I do have a date, though, I have to tell you. I have a date on Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes.
Take pictures and tell us.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna Facebook Live the entire experience, so everyone else can tell me if it's a go, right?
Sounds great.
So what else, Susan? I know it's like we need to spend the majority of the first part of the show talking about South by Southwest. You and I were talking before the show about how we used to experience it before it was what it is today.
I used to go in the 90s, and it was a totally different experience. I went because I was the marketing and PR director of Club Clearview back in the day, and we had live entertainment.
Nice.
So we would get free tickets to go and see the bands, to hire them and bring them to Club Clearview.
Awesome.
I mean, that's what South by Southwest was about. Finding new talent, emerging bands, and obviously it's not the same today.
No, because I lived in Austin in the 90s, and so me and my friends would literally we could still park downtown and just walk over and kind of celebrate, you know, some of the live bands. It was nothing like it is now.
No.
I mean, it is a full-on media event for
Yes.
the entirety of the entire, you know, of the whole
And
thing.
it's incredible. You have so much to learn if you can get in,
If you can get in,
if you can find a place to stay.
that's yes.
And it's interesting because I work with the media quite a bit during South by Southwest in Austin, the media in Austin. And they leave. I think that they probably rent out their homes because they make so much money on it.
I have a friend who owns a home in South Dallas.
Pretty
and-
much all the Austin locals leave.
Because
rent
they
out their
you
homes.
can't stand it. It's already congested. Austin is a congested city because there's like 2 streets that are, you know, worthy of driving on. And so I can't imagine what it must be like to be there for that. But it's a really good experience. I was telling you obviously before the show that you and I were invited to like 5 or 6 events, but you know, maybe we can do that next year.
Well, that's a great segue. So
Sure.
I researched, neither of us attended, so
That's
this
right.
is just based on research from social media and media coverage of South by Southwest. And I find this so interesting. It's the top 7 experiential marketing campaigns at South by Southwest, because these brands go over the top and spend hundreds of thousands of
That's right.
dollars during South by Southwest. So the first one that I saw, and this is in no particular order, Wisconsin had the world's largest cheese board.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh
it was
my
really cute.
Goodness.
Yes. So they rented out a location, and it was just a whole bar full of cheese. That sounds like a dream come true to me.
That's like a-
And then they had a really cute social media campaign. I think we have a clip of it doing South by South Wisconsin. Good for them.
Yes, I love
Isn't
that
that
kind of stuff.
cute?
It is. It is. That's
Yes.
a big ass charcuterie board kind of looking room. A charcuterie room.
Yes. Okay, so I think the very top one, and you're going to see so much press coverage on it, was HBO, and they recreated the TV series Westworld. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. This is the old Western.
Yes, where
theme, kind of.
it's like an entertainment park where robots play this Western theme in a town called Sweetwater. So they replicated Sweetwater, and guests could go in and tour it and act like they are on the set.
They're
so you
literally-
Yes, so this is the set. Look at that.
They recreated
That
the set.
is in Austin. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
that
they
is
basically did a little movie set, and they stacked it with 60 improv actors, 444-page script. They started production of this in November, and it took 5 weeks to set up. Yes, isn't that amazing?
Oh my goodness.
Horses, costumes, everything. There was food and drink there. Amazing. Like, I wish I could have experienced that.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
And that will be all over the media. I mean,
Yeah.
like just briefly, like the reason I was thinking about this on the way over here when I knew we were talking about it. For the public at large that doesn't really understand what is an activation or a branding campaign, it's specifically this, right? It's the way in which a brand says we need movement, we need motion, we need something that will excite people and some kind of call to action. Obviously, this would be an example of them doing an experiential activity to get more people to watch the show.
Exactly.
Right, so that's what an activation campaign is.
Yes. Next on the list, Anheuser-Busch. They created a Budweiser Country Club.
Oh, how cool is
So
that?
it was like a mini South by Southwest pertaining to country music, which I guess doesn't have a lot of prominence in South by Southwest.
Okay.
So that made it very unique. They had beer.
Yeah.
They had beer
This is
and
Texas, I
food and different experiences within their whole
The
little
beer country club.
Western playground. Exactly. Next up is the TV series Roseanne. There was a lot of TV going on, I noticed. So they had, and again, another set. That is the sofa that you often see Roseanne and the family sitting on, where you could go and sit on it yourself. And so they had scenes from the house where Roseanne, most of the...
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. They had
Where are they
different
setting this
staging.
stuff up, Susan?
I have no idea. I know. And then they also had the Lanford lunchbox, which I think is where Roseanne Barr worked.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you could order a piece of pie and a cup of coffee there.
That
I
is
thought that was
so
really cute.
cool.
So good for them. I thought that was really entertaining and memorable and good thing to hashtag,
Yeah.
right? Have you seen Hulu's Handmaid's Tales?
No, and I'm really nervous to see it because I think it's going to upset me because it's about like the
we don't have
subjugation
Hulu
of women. Now it's in my feed.
Uh-huh.
I'm just afraid to watch it because I don't want to be like really upset because you know how I'm about
Right.
like the subjugation of women. But anyways, so what did they do?
So they're promoting season 2.
Okay.
And so they actually had art displays, art exhibits, 7 of them throughout Austin.
Oh my goodness.
And as you can see, they had the costumes put on fire. And that's not real fire, just to let you
Okay.
know. But especially at night, it looked like smoke and fire was coming
That
up.
is
And then they
resist.
actually had some ambassadors. Those are the ambassadors wearing jackets. And they had a hashtag Resist Sister. And they
Oh, I'm in
passed
love.
out scrolls, and on the scroll, in the scrolls, there was a piece of red paper,
Okay.
and you were supposed to write down something that you want to resist, and then burn it. I don't know if that worked, but
I love that.
Yeah. So it was a very interactive
I'm going to tag everything today. Hashtag resist sister.
Resist Sister. I'm gonna make a jacket and say
Blessed
hashtag
be.
Resist
I know they always
Sister.
say blessed be, right, on the show. Oh, you haven't seen it. You haven't
No,
seen
I
it. Okay.
haven't seen it. Okay, next up, again, another TV show. Bravo.
Okay.
I haven't seen this one. Have you heard of Imposters?
No.
I haven't either, but it got a lot of play, actually. And so they did another staging of
Okay.
Imposters. So they had 3 different sets that you could take photos with. The one on the far left is, I believe, a hotel.
Okay.
It's a very luxury hotel. And then they also had a jet and a yacht. And you could take your photo within maybe all 3 of those.
Wow.
Doesn't that look like fun? Oh, that picture didn't turn out well, did it?
No.
That's the luxury hotel. It looks like it's inside an igloo.
Well, that looks like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, you got a date. That's what we need to do. We need to take you to South by Southwest, and maybe we can.
Maybe I'll find a husband there.
Yeah.
It may be on a set. It may be fake, but it could, at least be.
Awesome. That's so funny. So this last one
Okay.
is probably. This
this
is
your
amazing.
favorite?
This is. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's definitely the most
Oh, my
creative.
goodness.
This is Beauty Rest. You would think that Beauty Rest would, when nobody is sleeping, Beauty Rest goes and does an campaign. They put 150 mattresses out on Bass Concert Hall, which I know we have one in Fort Worth.
Sure.
There's also one in Austin.
There is.
And there is an 8-hour epic
Sleep out.
a lullaby. No, it
Oh.
is a lullaby-inspired piece performed by a 5-piece band, and they performed for 8 hours while guests laid on the bed to sleep.
Okay, now maybe that's where I should go.
Right?
If I could just.
8 hours, and yeah, so only 150 guests were invited. I don't know. I think they've only did it once.
And do they sleep?
I guess so. And this conductor, the live piece is actually called Sleep, and it is this British-German conductor. I don't know if you know his name, Max Richter. I don't know him either, but I think he's highly acclaimed. So he came and did an 8-hour live performance.
Oh my goodness. No,
Sleep.
that's really cool. I mean, there's so much creative energy that goes into building these. And what's interesting is just about every one of the set pieces that you showed us has social media attachment. Every single thing
Yes.
had a hashtag. It's like, can you imagine the world? I mean, you did PR. I mean, not to give away like how long you've been doing this, but do you remember doing this stuff, Susan, before there was like,
Of course. I remember.
hashtagging and
Oh, well, this is how antiquated I am. It was almost before, no, it wasn't before email, but email was still taking place. Websites were still being built. So we mailed everything. I had a copier and we were just mailing everything out. We had to print pictures and everything. So yeah, I've seen it all.
goodness,
Yeah.
no.
You're like,
I like things digital. Let's keep it that way. So
right on.
Awesome. Well, that was great to segue into a quick commercial break from one of our sponsors, Kruto Vodka. And when we return,
We get to talk to the Kathy Fielder, who has some amazing news to share. So stay tuned.
welcome back. Welcome back.
Back. And we have Kathy Fielder here. And most of you probably know her. She is a design and lifestyle expert of KF Design, Life, and Style.
Yes. Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
for
She
having
does
me.
about everything. Like, it's really hard to introduce you because she's a manufacturer, an entrepreneur, a mother, a philanthropist, celebrity, television celebrity. You are all over the place. A blogger, an influencer.
I wear a lot of hats.
You wear a lot of hats.
I'm a pretty busy person, to say the least.
I was exhausted.
You're successful with everything. It's really amazing.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm successful. That's a nice thing to say. I think that, in fact, I was having this conversation with my son this morning, or last night, because I have a 6-year-old, his name's Harrison, and he had football practice, and he caught all the passes before practice, but didn't catch many of the passes during practice, or maybe not any. And so, he was really upset. My husband took him, and I was home cooking and just kind of being, being in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I love to cook. It's one of my favorite things to do, and just be around my house. But anyways, and so he comes in, and you could tell he's really upset. And I go, buddy, the thing is that you're going to fail so many more times before you get really great. And I said, mommy's had a lot of failures. And, the successes are the great part, but you really don't know how good they are until you figure out how it can be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of
That's
a big
true.
philosophy about how I'm raising my kids, is to help them understand that.
That's good.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I don't think anyone who is successful hasn't failed.
No,
So,
it's not. I
yeah,
don't think
that's
it's
how you
possible.
learn.
How do you measure success unless you've gone through the failure,
Well,
right?
and I don't think you can see how great it is.
That's
You
right.
know, and kind of, we were talking before the show about building something, you know, and I think you can't really know how fulfilled about what you've built, how that feeling can be until you've seen how it's not always like that every day.
Sure.
It's just not. And so it's one of those things where you learn and start to understand, hey, you know what? This feels really good.
Yeah.
You know, it feels really good because you've seen those days when it's not been so great.
Right.
I want to know when was the moment when you started kind of your first business what was your aha moment? When did you go, this feels really germane to me? Like, I think this is something that I could do for the rest of my life.
You know, I started my first company at 23, and it was a design studio.
Okay.
And, you know, part of me has always thought maybe it would have been a little smarter to go work for someone first
Yeah.
and kind of not have to bang your head against the wall to figure everything out. But and I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. But so, you know, I didn't do it that way. I kind of did it the hard way, which I feel like maybe I've done a lot of my life.
You did it your way.
I did it my way, which isn't always the best way. And so, you know, and so I just don't think I'm employable. I think that's more so what it is. And
That's
then
a great way to say it.
I'm just not, and that's okay. No, we're all different. You know, some people do really well working for someone, and it's great for them, and some people don't. I need that freedom. I'm not able to sit at an office all day or do any of those things. You know, once I had children, I didn't have Isabella. I think I was 30 when I had Isabella. I knew then for sure I wasn't going to ever be working for anyone because I really need the flexibility. My kids are always with me. It's funny. People ask me, they see them in the feed and they say, are your kids really with you all the time? And they really are with me all the time. I mean, Isabella has packed orders for major retailers.
I met Isabella.
That is so cute.
Kathy and I worked together. She was the chair of an Equest gala, and her daughter accompanied her to the gala.
She did, my husband and I. So my little stayed at home, but Isabella actually has been with me to a lot of different things. I think it's really great for both of my kids to see, again, the struggle,
Sure.
but also to see some of the victories. But, you know, talking about, I don't know if I can let the cat out of the bag, but QVC.
Yes!
Yes.
Well, it's out of the bag now.
Really fast, though, I do want our viewers to know, like, some of the things, because lifestyle, home, and all that is very vague. So you actually have bedding collections, luxury bedding collections. One is actually named after your daughter, Isabella.
Collection, yep.
And that's found at Neiman Marcus
or
Chow. Yes.
It's done at
Globally,
higher end
I mean,
boutique, so it's a higher end collection that I did. I started at my manufacturing company, gosh, 10 or 11 years ago. And so we started shipping to Neiman Marcus within the first 6 months of me starting that. I was
huge
very blessed with,
accomplishment.
you know, it just kind of fell into place. And then with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work, you know, we've been shipping for a long time. In fact, I think we have the longest running bedding collection with Neiman Marcus, but I'm not 100% sure. I kind of don't get too bogged down, thank you, in some of that. But so we've been definitely making bedding. And the great thing about Isabella collection is it's all cut, sewn, and shipped right out of Dallas on Greenville Avenue. So it's all made right here in the USA. And in Dallas, Texas at the studio.
Applaud you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no,
Yeah,
no kidding. That is amazing.
It's taken a lot. You know, in 2009, we lost 7 figures in 8 months of revenue whenever the economy crashed.
Yeah.
So it's taken a lot to try to keep it here and remain competitive, but it's
Good for you. That must have been a hard decision. No?
It was a hard decision to even move forward and try to make it through that. And so, but to continue to keep it here, you know, but I think that there is so much value in having a line that's domestically created. It gives me kind of a different perspective. You know, my mom actually is the head pattern maker.
Oh, it's a family business, truly.
So she's been with me, gosh, I think my mom started with me maybe 9 months in for reasons that's a whole story on its own, another challenge that we kind of went through, but that's okay because challenges are part of what make things great.
That's right.
And so you can't build something without challenges, and so, you know.
And isn't it, this is kind of the way I feel about it. Like, I do employ people, right? And that's something that I think people who are not entrepreneurs don't understand, kind of that it's good and bad. So it's like you feel amazing to be a job creator and to be providing for somebody, but the amount of stress that exists to make sure, because their livelihood depends on you.
Depends on you. And you know, and you, I remember it's so funny, we just were on vacation and we were in a boutique and it had Chanel watches. And I used to have that black J12.
Yeah.
It was such a cool watch.
That was gorgeous.
And Belly goes, it was there, and she goes, Isabella said, wow, that's such a cool watch. I go, I know, I used to have one. She goes, what happened to it? And I said, well, I sold it to make payroll in 09. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That is
Right.
I mean, truly, because that was I think maybe it was 2010. But so, and she said, you did what? And I go, well, you know, I mean, when you own a company and you have people to take care of, you take care of them.
That's right.
And so, and she just kind of looked at me, and I thought that probably was one of the best sentences I could have ever said to her, because she understood kind of when you're building something,
Sacrifices
you
and
know.
responsibility.
And responsibility.
and just life lessons in general, right? That you, because I'm sure that your kids are going to grow up amazing, because you've been able to, you're sharing with them in real time, like life experiences on the daily, right?
I hope so. And, you know, I mean, the whole point of everything that I do is about being happy and living in the moment. You know, I think that, you know, I am very busy. I have a lot of things going on. It's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, okay, I can get it done. I can get it done. You know, I mean, everybody looks at an Instagram feed and they go, oh, that just looks perfect and it looks glamorous and it looks, you know, awesome. But it's not like that most days. It's really not. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. But at the end of the day, whatever you're doing and embracing, it's supposed to be happy, you know, most of the time.
Sure.
Right.
And there's supposed to be some value in it that feeds your soul. And so at the, you know, I hope that's what I'm imparting to my kids more than anything.
I think it is,
The fact
based on
that
everything.
just,
Yes.
you know, just live life and be in the moment. In fact, my bracelet says be present. And I wear it a
That
lot.
is the biggest, that's the most challenging thing
It's
to
really
do.
hard. And, you know, I mean, there's always emails and texts and social media to deal with and all of these things. And so it's, you know, and I admit, I mean, my phone, my little might think that my phone is actually my other hand.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't have 3 phones, but yeah.
Right?
I do have a question.
Sure.
I want to hear about QVC. I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
You're going live on March 28th, right?
March 28th.
March
yes.
28th. And you emailed me. You're like, oh, I'm at QVC school. And I'm like, what?
So you go for new vendor training, and so then they actually kind of, you know, teach you their methods, and they're, you know, really specific about it. I mean, there's no other kind of entity
Do they
like
have it
them.
down to a science? Is it more
science.
it's more science than art?
I think it's both. I mean, it's truly a produced television show, 24 hours a day, 364 days a year. And they know what time slots are effective for what product, and, you know, how to engage their audience. And they truly actually really are masters at understanding their client and delivering value. Well, and you
I'm
can't.
sure.
Only
I
the
know.
person that's going to be on can go to the
What are we
class.
going to sell, Susan? Let's figure out something to produce.
Yes,
I know.
for sure.
Coffee
I was just
mugs.
gonna say.
Sign bites.
I love it. That's perfect. So, but I mean, you know, and they have everything. It's so it's diverse.
Was it one-on-one, or were you with other people who are going to be on
I
the
was
show?
with some other people, so which again they do that every Thursday. So it just tells you the amount of volume and the amount of people that they're engaging, and the audience that they're engaging, different segments of society, and you know they're it's impressive.
Did they help you with the price points and say, like, so what happened? Did you go to them and say, you pitched your product, and then in the pricing, or how did
She's
how
like,
did
no,
it
they
come
came
about?
to me.
think it
She's like,
happens
they came to me.
No, it happens differently for everyone. In my case, the buyer that I'm working with, particularly, his team and I just kind of have a like-minded strategy about what product, you know, and this particular collection is bedding, and so we just had a like-minded strategy about working with his clients. He's been there for a long time, and he really wanted something that was cohesive with what he's built, and so that's kind of how it progressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it actually became a license line. I was going to produce it, but then I got a licensing deal for it, which is really fantastic because at that
Takes a lot
point,
of the,
a little, yeah, and
You
I
must have
think
a good lawyer. Because you have a lot of products.
what, do you want a sample?
Well, and
No,
you know,
she
her
has so many different
fingerprints?
things.
I do have a great, but honestly, I don't have to use much legal,
Yeah.
you know, I really don't. And whenever you're trying to just make a good product and you're just open and upfront and you do good business with people.
Right.
I mean, this has been, I think, almost 3 years in the making.
Oh,
my
really?
goodness,
Okay,
yeah.
see, that
So,
tells you something too.
it-
Like, because you think, I just heard about it, so I was like, gosh, you know, I thought it came about like that, but you've been working on it for 3 years.
A long, long time. And so
Okay.
it's not one of the things,
Yeah.
again, you know, Isabella has literally watched me kind of work through this and see my family, you know, and kind of like, is it really, it's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm like, I promise, it just takes time to develop the product and to get it placed and to figure out I mean, you have to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, and everything's been completely designed and custom. I mean, it's really custom bedding, you know.
And people can come and visit you too, and
They
they can go
can.
shop. So, yeah, another new thing that's going on.
That we just found out about, right?
We
Like,
just found out about,
Yep.
yeah, she's like, oh, by the way.
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. So yes, actually, so I've had a studio for a long time on Lewis Greenville, the kind of fun district right
Sure.
close to downtown. And so on April 5th, we're doing a wrap party, and we're opening a boutique within my boutique, and it's going to benefit.
So exciting.
I know, it's very exciting, and it's for an amazing cause. So it's a wrap party for Fashion Stars for a Cause, which benefits the Suicide and Crisis Center of North Texas. And so that event is this coming Friday evening, and then April 5th is the wrap party for this event. But the amazing thing about the boutique that's opening within the boutique, it's called Britt Rose, and it all 100% of the profits benefit suicide prevention.
When you said that, I was like, 100% of the profits. That is amazing.
It's an amazing story, and
Thank you for doing that.
oh
That's
yeah,
just,
you know, I think philanthropy is really a big thing for me. If you want to call it a thing, I guess that. But you know, it's really
you're
important.
involved in a lot. You've chaired a lot of events.
I have chaired a lot of events and done a lot of work, and I think it's really important to give back and to help. You know, there's a culture of support and building people up rather than some of the cultures we see where people kind of are tearing each other down. And it's very important to me to bolster that and help people understand that we can all have a good time, we can support each other, we can build up the people that maybe aren't as fortunate as we are or as blessed as we are. And so in fact, Bella and I are actually we're making bedding for an orphanage in Guatemala.
Oh, that's so cute. that
We
you're
are.
doing this
These are girls that have been, you know, kind of abused or whatever, and many of them are maybe Bella's age with a child already. And so we're going to do their rooms and go down. Actually, on my 15th wedding anniversary is the day we leave, which I got permission for that. And Bella and I are going down, and we're going to install the bedding. And
amazing.
Susan and I will get helicopter lifted in, and we'll do a live remote of
please
the
come.
installation.
Let's do it.
Courtesy of On Air
Absolutely.
Media.
Orphan Outreach would I'd love that, and you know, they have orphanages I think in 5 countries all over the continent, and do amazing work taking care of kids that just don't have what my kids have, and you know.
Well, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
and I love that, you know, because I really try to live my own life in many ways by to whom much is given, much is expected. Because it's not even a duty, there's so much you receive so much by helping other people with like upward mobility, right? And never more so than with you know, marginalized communities and women who have been abused and stuff like that. I love to support any organization that gives someone the feet to really help themselves grow. And so I applaud.
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
And I thank you. Well, and I think, you know, as you grow and do learn more and become hopefully a little bit more wise as you go, that helping, you know, feed the souls of people who are looking and searching and wanting more, and helping them understand, you know, because it's really just success principles that you grow on and continue to learn. And I don't really know anything yet. I'm still working and still learning and still growing, and you know, make mistakes just like, you know, everybody else does, of course, right? And it's just what we kind of come out of those mistakes with. And so, but no, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be an amazing trip. I think it'll be a fantastic experience for Bella. And the perspective, I mean, I'm a little worried because I have this big heart, and so to see, you know, kind of to what we have here in Dallas versus what, you know, these girls probably will be so grateful for, and no doubt be grateful for, and just be blessed by their spirit. I'm really excited about it.
Well, it will be, we'll want to certainly stay in touch with that, and we'll share with our audience, obviously, your boutique within inside of your boutique across our social media, and we would love to do a follow-up and just kind of see
Absolutely. That would be
everything
so
that
much
happens.
fun. Would
right?
love it. Yes.
Absolutely.
You guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I was sitting here the whole time you were talking,
Yes.
just giggling to myself. I'm like, oh, you have to do
We're
that.
crazy. We're crazy.
Oh, awesome. I loved it. It was great.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. I wish we could
Thank
speak to you for
I
like
know.
a million
I know.
hours.
I was like, we have
I'm
to
just-
cut off,
yeah.
and we're way over. So.
But we will share everything
Yes.
across our social media at Susan and Waylon, and on our website we'll share more detailed information with hyperlinks
Yep.
to
And people can
what
visit
she's doing.
kathyfielder.com.
kathyfielder.com. You can find everything there. So.
And go buy some stuff on QVC.
Yes.
There, yeah.
Thank you, Kathy, so much
Thank
for
you.
being
And
here.
thank you
so much for
everyone for
having me.
watching.
Yes, have a wonderful
Somebody's-
week. We'll see you next time.